בעזרת השם מולדי לעילוי נשמת אברהם בן אפרים, מרים בת גאולה, דוד בן שושנה, שלמה שמואל בן יוסף, also לרפואת דוד בן עליזה מלכה, and also לרפואת נועם בן רבקה לאה, יפה בת רחל, לעילוי נשמת תמרה בת בתיה, מרוסיה בת קסיה, also לעילוי נשמת שמעון בן מרים and מונירה בת חנה. טוב, we are in the middle of Hanukkah, fifth candle tonight. Time is flying, as you can see. It's very hard to be happy in these days of Hanukkah when you find out that the situation in Israel is not getting any better, and more soldiers dying every day. So far, 105 soldiers died in 2 months and a few days since the war started. That's besides the people that died in the massacre. It's plus you have, I believe, about 150 people that are still kidnapped. Now, on top of all the problems, this Yemenite Houthi, which is, I didn't know that such a big army. They have many thousands of terrorists over there working for Iran. They start now to kidnap boats that are on the way to Israel. They go through their water, and they force them to go into the Yemenite port, and they kidnap the people, they merchandise, they robbed it. That's a disaster. We're going to have to start a war now with Yemen, a war with Lebanon for Hezbollah, a war with Gaza, a war with the Yemen, Iran, which is Iran behind all of that. It's terrible. Who knows what is it going to do to the economy, which is already terrible now with all the expenses. Tens of billions of dollars this war costs. Small country like Israel, in case you don't know, the annual aid that the United States gives to Israel is about $3 billion a year. Now the war is already more than 20 billion so far. That means the Israeli miserable people that are paying close to 40-50% taxes as it is, probably will have to pay extra 10-15% more. Who's going to pay the war? Who's going to pay all the bombs, the missiles? Is Mamash HaKadosh Baruch Hu is smacking us from all directions. The words of Parashat Bechukotai and Parashat Kitavo are happening in front of our eyes. Mamash. Besides losing all the blessing financially, we're losing life. So many people are dying, so many families are destroyed. Today they made a bar mitzvah to a boy that they murdered his entire family. Made him bar mitzvah. And bar mitzvah when his family is all dead. On top of all that, as you can see, the world is against us. No matter what will happen to us, the world will always hate us. Somebody asked me today, I don't know what's going on here. I mean, after something like this, the world is still complaining about Israel. That shows me that the anti-Semitism basically will never ever die, will never finish. And I said, it's written in the Torah, Am levadad yishkon, uvagoim lo yitchashav. But you should know, although it looks very, very bad, very sad, very, very sad, when Hashem does things, it's a long process. You only see a month, 2 months. It looks very discouraging. We don't see the end of the journey, the end of the movie. You know, when they make a movie, 2 hours movie, it may be an hour and 58 minutes are miserable, sad, disappointing. It's all an illusion, a movie. But then the last 2 minutes, everything falls into place, and everybody gets up and walk home with a great feeling. The hero got saved, he went back to his wife, whatever the case is, or the children were saved, or they released the hostages. You know how it is. They're trying to make a happy end. The problem is that in life, there's not always a happy end. You know, we have a very famous saying in Gemara. This is a solid principle of Judaism. Kol man de'avid rachmana latav avid. That's in Aramaic. That's the language they spoke in Babylon 2,000 years ago. Everything Hashem does for the best, for good. Right away, people begin to ask, what's good? One punch after the other, how good it can be. Before you realize one tragedy, another one comes, and before you digest the next one, and a third one is already coming. And it's written in the Torah, when I will start punishing you, before you digest the problem of the morning, you will have to digest the problem that will come right next in the evening, meaning one after the other. You won't have rest. You don't even finish to digest the horrible news that you just got, and right away something worse came, and another one, and another one. You don't know what to focus on. On top of that, we have another problem. The government that we have is, besides few individuals that have a head on their shoulders, the rest of the government is extremely stupid. It's really, really dumb people. People that are basically brainless. On the top of the pyramid is Netanyahu, which because they chased him for a few years with lawsuits and prosecutions and the Attorney General and all the lefty liberals, similar to what they do to Trump here, already 4, 5, 6 years, all he has to do is to try the thing, how he's not going to jail, how he's not going to be convicted, with the pressure and investigations and witnesses. He took away his brain. He doesn't think anymore. Today they had an argument in a cabinet over there in Israel. There's a group of the top of the government. If they should open the border again to Palestinians to come work in Israel. You believe this?
What?
You believe how dumb a person can be. And Netanyahu is for it. Netanyahu wants the Arabs to come work in Israel. 2 months after what he saw what they did, same ones who came to work, out of them came and shot. So he wants to bring again 30,000, 40,000 terrorists to gain more information, to take more pictures, to prepare the next attack. How much more we have to suffer until one of these morons will finally wake up and understand that they have to change direction? What's his excuse? Guess what? What's his excuse?
Cheap labor.
What's his excuse?
Cheap labor. Cheap labor.
His excuse is, if they won't have parnasa, they'll get angry. And if they'll get angry, they would want to kill us. You little fool. They want to kill you even if they make $1 billion a day. They want to kill you because that's all they live for. That's the only reason why they are alive. These people in Gaza and Judea and Samaria. They have only one goal from 8-0, to murder Jews. Regardless, rich, poor, it doesn't really matter. Every one of them say, I'm dreaming to be a Shaheed, to kill Jews. From age 3, that's all they teach them in kindergarten. Whether they make money, whether they don't make money, one way or the other they're coming to kill us. Why bringing them into our living rooms? Let them kill each other over there. They won't have parnasa, they begin to kill each other. They're very good at it. They're very good at killing each other. Shiite, Sunni, Shia. They find what to kill each other for. The Palestinian Authority against the Hamas against them, the Muslim brother. Don't worry. They'll feel some poverty, they'll begin to kill each other. It's the best thing that can happen to us. When 2 people wants to murder you, and they're planning to kill you, and now they had a fight between them, and they started to fight each other. You have to be dancing. You have to praise God for that miracle. But the leaders are dumb. It's a part of the curse in the Torah, that we will be controlled by clowns, people that are basically have 0 mental IQ. Their IQ is basically 0. Baruch Hashem, we have few normal ones, some of my friends in the government, that they prevented it for now, for the time being. They voted against it. Smotrich, Ben-Gvir, a few other religious ones. What's the solution? Bring Indians. Indians go to work in Dubai, they make 1,000 shekel a month. Less than $300 a month. Arab makes it in 2 days. But you pay an Arab terrorist to come kill you and work, supposedly in construction. By the way, you should know that every building they build on purpose, they sabotage it. They push shoes into the pipe, they make holes. Let's say you have under the floor, you have heat. The heat, the floor is heated by hose that has hot water. On purpose, they make small holes with needles. They make holes, and until you move into the house, they'll be back in Gaza. And when the winter comes in 6 months, you're going to turn on the heat, and water is going to start running, and your entire house will be flooded. Go find them. They're never going to give you something from the heart. They don't want the Jews to have a minute of happiness. So they are poison, they are danger, they are mamash bad animals among us. What are you even thinking to open the border, bringing them again? So you see, when you are controlled by such idiots and such liberal lefty traders, that's why so many soldiers, innocent soldiers, have to die. How do you explain it from a religious point of view? Everything I told you now is in a natural way of looking at it. You don't have to be religious to understand what I say. Every normal person that has common sense understands that it's a very bad mistake to ever let them in. Ever, even in 50 years from now. Ever, to let one of them in. Now let's look at it from a divine point of view. Everyone who dies, unfortunately, it was written on Rosh Hashanah. That's it. Every one of these 105 soldiers in Rosh Hashanah, Hashem wrote that in this date they have to die. Now, why they die? I can give you 1,000 possible reasons. Why would a 20 years old soldier die? He just started his life. He's basically a teenager. What did he do in his life? Just a few years ago, he was bar mitzvah. A few years he was on the beach, going to school, high school. Age 18, they took him to the army. Age 20, he got a bullet and died. How much he did in his life? Nothing. He didn't get married, he didn't have children. Hundreds like this died with the massacre together. About 400 soldiers, male and female, single. And some of them are in reserve, meaning they have children. Father of 3, father of 2, father of 4. So why would a person die so young? Why does Hashem write on Rosh Hashanah that few hundred Israeli soldiers, civilians, what difference does it make? A Jew is a Jew. Whether he's a soldier, whether he's not. That he will die before his life even started. As we read the Torah gives a list of all kinds of sins that the punishment for them is death penalty. The punishment for those sins is death penalty, such as breaking Shabbat, not keeping the Sabbath, that's death penalty. Murdering, that's death penalty. There's a list of things that it's death penalty in the Torah. Homosexuality is death penalty, even though it's not in style to talk about it now. They will say that you're primitive and racist and crazy and who knows what else. But the divine Torah of God did not change according to fashion. That's because the people today are open-minded and they want to redesign humanity and redesign the laws of nature. God can care less about their stupidity. His rules will be solid and stable and will stay forever and ever. It's not going to change according to what people think or what people were brainwashed to think. That's not relevant. This is the law, whether you like it, whether you don't like it, whether you agree with that, whether you accept it, whether you understand it or not. Too bad you don't understand. Too bad you don't accept it. We don't need your approval. With all due respect. Everybody thinks he's the deputy of God. There are rules in the creation. The creator of nature made rules. Every species has to continue to multiply. Otherwise, the world will come to an end. No one will be left. So dogs need to stay in the world. They are needed for the world. Male and female will bring new dogs to the world. People have to continue to be reincarnated to come back to the world. You need for that male and female, not male and male. You know the English joke. God created Adam and Eve, not Adam and Steve. You don't like it, I know. But that's what's written in the book of God. So the faster you adjust your corrupted mind into the original ancient laws of the Creator, the better it is for you. You refuse to accept it, you learn the hard way. So here is one possible, again, we do not know. No human being, include any big rabbi, no matter how holy he is, no matter how knowledgeable he is, nobody can know 100% why an individual died. Jew or non-Jew. Nobody can answer this question. You may see a murderer, and now someone just shot him. So, oh, he deserved it. He killed people. He also got killed. It's almost for sure the reason, but we cannot swear. There could be a different reason. It could be that there is something worse than murder that he did, in the eyes of God. It could be that he died not for the murder he committed now, but for something he committed in his past life. Because life continues. It's a reincarnation of the soul in a new body, but it's the same soul. That soul was in a different body when he committed other crimes. And he was reincarnated to the world to die age 20 with fire or with choking or with getting a bullet or getting stabbed. This was all written before he even came to the world. Regardless if he will do good or bad in this life, it was already determined from past life. How do we know his past life? Do we know who he was? We don't know. Only God knows. And even if it's for this life, we have to ask why one soldier will die age 20 and the other one will die age 40. Why this one died right away and this one lived extra 20 years? If both of them died for the same crime, if both of them were judged by Hashem for not keeping Shabbat, why one would leave the world age 20 and the other one would leave the world age 40? Both of them were Mechalelei Shabbat for Bar Mitzvah. From the time of your Bar Mitzvah, you are liable to your choices, to your actions. You have to deal with the consequences. So Reuven, age 13, started to be Mechalel Shabbat. By age 20, Hashem took him from the world. 7 years of Chilulei Shabbat, which is about 364 Shabbatot that he violated. Right? 7 years, 52 Shabbatot. That's how many Shabbats he violated against Hashem. The other one, Shimon, violated 27 years, not 7 years. Much more, 5 times more. 1,500, 1,600 Shabbatot. Much more. And then he got his death penalty. The question is why? Two identical sinners. One will not have that much patience, and the other one, Hashem had much more patience for him until he went away from the world. The answer to this question is very, very deep. In order for a person to know how God judges a person, you have to be a super genius and super knowledgeable. Most people have zero knowledge in Judaism. Zero. Even religious people with Yarmulke on their head, their knowledge is about in first grade maximum level. They don't know. They don't learn Gemara. They don't learn Jewish Hashkafa. They don't learn Sifrei Poskim. They don't know. They never learn the Zohar, the Kabbalah. They never learn the reincarnations of the Ari HaKadosh. They don't know anything about life. They don't know. They only want to live and enjoy the moment. That's all they care about. And to be robots that keep some of the commandments that they're aware of. Whatever they learn in synagogue, if they went to yeshiva when they were young, whatever the religious parents taught them, that's it. More than that, are not interested to even know. That's most of the people. If someone is very, very into learning, after 20 years of learning, he knows a lot. Now things makes a lot of sense to him. So one of the ways Hashem judges a person, there are millions of details that he takes to consideration. One is, how sharp is your brain? Are you very smart or are you a very stupid person? Stupid people automatically don't have the same potential to be righteous like smart people. Smart people, the smarter you are, the faster you have to understand what will be the consequences of your choices. You read it in the Torah, and you understand. If I continue in my way, one day it will explode in my face. A dumb person is not that clever to calculate where will I end. Hashem takes it into consideration. Who are your parents? What kind of education you got from a very young age? That's something else to consider. How much heresy you heard in your life? One heard a lot from a very young age. It's not so fair to punish him fast. He's brainwashed by a lot of wicked people. The other one didn't have brainwash or heresy. No, he actually heard positive things. And he's still Mechalel Shabbat. So, Rabotai, for the same transaction, the same action, one could be 10 times more criminal in the eyes of Hashem. For the same exact sin. He lit a cigarette on Shabbat, and his friend lit one. Both of them is death penalty. לא תבערו אש בכל מושבותיכם ביום השבת. No one is allowed to create fire, no matter where they live in the earth, on the 7th day, on the Sabbath. That's a verse in the Torah. And right after that, what does it say? Those who will do it are subject to death penalty and a permanent cut for their soul from the afterlife. That's the main punishment. To die, we will die sooner or later. No one will be here forever. So if you died 60 instead of 80, it's very sad. You lost 20 years, 20 precious years of life. But it's not as critical as when you die for eternity. When you find out, when you come to God and you just found out that because you were not Shomer Shabbat, you have no share to the world to come. You lost your share. You lost your share. It's a disaster. You know what it's like? That when you're born, your father gave you a hard drive with thousands of bitcoins. $50,000 each. And there are thousands, meaning billions of dollars. And he told you the password, and you forgot the password. That's it. You just don't remember the password. You have no entry to the hard drive. You can't ever sell the Bitcoin. It's like, it's gone. The money is gone. In the old days, they used to have a bank account in Switzerland with numbers only. People did not want to be identified. They wanted not to pay taxes. So they opened offshore an account in Switzerland with numbers only. The bank doesn't even know who you are. That was just 4 years ago. So all the terrorists, all the leaders, all the dictators, they all used to have bank account in those places. Cayman Islands, Swiss, with numbers. Even if one day they wanted to prove that the money is yours, they don't know. You're the only one who knows the number of the account and the password, how to get it. That's it. Then the Americans started to pressure. If you're not going to start giving us information about Americans who open accounts by you, you won't be able to do business in the United States. We will disconnect the Swiss bank from the system. They will be bankrupt. They won't be able to work. They put a lot of pressure on them, and now it's names, Social Security, everything. The United States in a minute can find out how much money you have in Switzerland if they want. 4 years ago, it wasn't the case. So it's very similar now. Every Jew is born with a share to the world to come. And the Gemara said that those are the Jews who lost their share to the world to come. And they give a list of people who lost their share to the world to come. If a Jew is in this category, every day that is alive is a miracle. Because according to the dry law, a day after his bar mitzvah, he was subject already to a death penalty. Right? His bar mitzvah was Thursday evening. He became 13. Friday night, he was supposed to already keep Shabbat. He broke Shabbat. The day is only one day liable to his action. One day is already death penalty. But Hashem waited for him 7 years, 10 years, 15 years, 20 years, or sometimes even 50 years. Until the death come. Why? It's depend on your past life, who you used to be, how righteous or wicked you used to be, how many chances Hashem wants to give you in this life. Not everyone gets the same amount of chances. One of the things that Hashem considers is who your parents are. If you are a grandson of a holy, big rabbi, big, holy, very tzaddik, big tzaddik, Hashem, you have, it's called zchut avot. You have the merits of your fathers. Why? Because Hashem does not want to upset your grandfather. Grandfather is in the upper world, Olam HaEmet, and now they want to take his son into hell. It's going to make the grandfather very upset. Look what happened to your son. He became like a goy. He's not shomer, not eating kosher, not Shabbat, no modesty, no tefillin, no nothing. Grandfather that is so righteous, it will break his heart, even though he's in heaven. But when he finds out that the grandson that is named after him is going now to 300 years in hell, how is he supposed to be happy? Similar to what we have now in Hanukkah. It's supposed to be very happy in these days. Hallel, singing, donuts, menorah, gathering. No one is happy. Who can be happy in a situation that we're in? It's mixed feelings. One hand, people love that week. It's beautiful, every year it comes, we're happy, it's a different atmosphere. But this year, the tragedies around us basically killed all the fun, all the happiness. There was one very big rabbi from Morocco, maybe the biggest in the past generation in Morocco. There was a big posek, Talmid Chacham. Rabbi Yosef brings him in some of his answers. He brings his opinion in certain halacha issues. His grandson married to my cousin. I have a cousin, we grew up together. She's a year older than me. And she married the grandson of that big rabbi, which is already completely not religious. It's traditional. He loves religion, he loves rabbis. He gives tons of donations according to the stories that I hear. But he's not Shomer Shabbat. Not Shomer Shabbat. And he became a multi-millionaire. Became a serious importer. We import tons of things from China to Israel. Those importers make tons of money. They buy it for a few pennies in China, sell it for 100 times more in Israel. Just to give you an example. Here in America, if you want to buy a case for your mezuzah, you go to Judaica store. Plastic, solid plastic, waterproof or UV proof from the sun, that it doesn't burn the sun doesn't burn the actual parchment. Do you know how much they charge for just the plastic? The plastic, $14. This plastic was made in China. The big importer that imported 100,000 of them, how much do you think he paid in China? 10 cents, 20 cents the most. 30 cents, you know what, let's go crazy. 30 cents. 30 cents. And he begins to sell it to distributors who sell it to the store, who sell it to you. There are 4 people who make profit. 30 cents, he sold it to someone for probably $1 something. He sold it for probably $3 something. The store paid probably a little more, and by the time you come, you pay 3 times more. But think about it. Something that was made in China for 20 cents or for a quarter, you're paying here in New York $14. In Israel, you pay $8, $7, almost half a price than here. But here, they kill you on a price. Someone builds a mansion here in Jamaica Mistake. He has 40 mezuzot. 40 mezuzot times $14, $560 just for plastic. Just for the plastic. How much did it cost in China? $4. Do you get the point of what's happening here or no? So now it's going to change with these Yemenites attacking boats. Part of the cost is the shipping. You have boats. In the time of Corona, the boats were stuck. No one was there to take the loads off. So they got stuck 2-3 months in the middle of the ocean. They had to pay the people on the boat every day. It made everything more expensive. a container that used to be $1,000 to bring a container from China to New Jersey, in Corona became 17,000. 1,000 jumped to 17,000. Then it went down to almost what it used to be. And now it's going up again. Why? Terrorism, this, that. So that guy, he became an importer. He bring imports from China. One time I was invited to my family for Shabbat. I went there for Shabbat, my cousins and my female cousin, she came with him. They came before Shabbat, Friday afternoon. They came with their fancy car. They stayed for the meal. Now they want to drive back to Tel Aviv. Shabbat already. The entire 2-3 hours of the meal, I was arguing with him and his daughter. His daughter was the secretary of the chief of command. The Israeli chief of command, the one who's in charge of all the army, which I'm going to talk about him in a minute. Remind me if I forget. She was his right-hand secretary. She writes all the confidential letter. She's a very intelligent girl, not religious. I'm speaking to him. I say to him, you're going to drive now back to Tel Aviv on Shabbat? You are named after one of the holiest Moroccan rabbis in the history. You know who was your grandfather? You're not embarrassed? Someone with a name like this, it's a legacy. Imagine if you're a grandson of Rabbi Yosef and your father called you Ovadia after his father. So your name is Ovadia Yosef. Your name is after the legendary Rabbi Ovadia Yosef, and people see you with an earring and tattoo and driving a car on Shabbat with a cigarette. You know what a Chilul Hashem? We arguing, you know me, I give him proofs, this, that. He said, no, one day I will be. One day I will be. I'm not saying it's not true. So I don't know, I say to him, what do you mean one day you will be? How do you know until when you're going to leave? You have guarantee that you will leave? I say to him, you're already sure that you're going to leave? That's why when I told him, look, as long as you are alive and healthy, now you can choose not to break Shabbat anymore. One day Hashem can force you to be Shomer Shabbat. I say to him. But then you're not going to get the reward. What do you think happened? That was Shabbat, Friday night. On Tuesday, 4 days later. I was in Israel. Tuesday, my mother called. Did you hear what happened? He got a stroke. Became paralyzed. Not such an old person. Wasn't even 60. 50-something years old. Paralyzed. Until today. He has a Filipini. He moves in, wheelchair, take him. Cannot talk, talks very slow. Hashem arranged this meeting between me and him as the last warning that he wanted to give him. I waited for him many years. I mean, he cannot say, I don't know religion. His grandfather was one of the most influential rabbis in the world. Big, very big tzaddik, Talmid Chacham Gadol Meod, posek halachot, important posek. But, you know, the grandfather came from Morocco to Israel. The son already got the influence of the communist, Zionist, wicked Israelis, came from Russia and Poland, and brainwashed all the traditional and religious Jews to leave the religion. And the grandson already became Chalel Shabbat completely. Went to public school, not religious. Because he has such a holy grandfather, and everywhere we go, people tell him, what? You're the grandfather of such rabbi? So he stayed a little bit connected to the tradition. Now, Hashem forced him to be Shomer Shabbat. He cannot be Mechalel Shabbat anymore. Cannot drive, cannot move. He needs the guy to take care of him. What happened to all the tens of the millions of dollars? No. Can you enjoy it now when you're paralyzed? That's what the secular people are not getting. It can happen any second. But the Yetzer Hara convince you that everything will be fine. There's plenty of time. No rush. No rush. You can do tshuva in another 5-10 years. You're only 60. And when you become 70, you're only 70. What's the rush? And when you're 80, no, you're healthy. You're healthy. You don't have issues. You definitely have another 10 more years. And all of a sudden, boom, he dies and then it's too late. Speaking about the chief of command, this poor guy lost his son this week. I don't know if you heard the news. His son got killed. There's nothing that breaks the heart more than a father bury his son, young son. Ben Skunin. He wasn't 20, he was in reserve, in his 30s. Chief of command is probably now 60, 65 I would say. This is his youngest son, 30-something years old. As a father, I believe he has children also. He's a father. Him and his friend, Berkovich, they grew up together, two friends in the same unit. Both of them got killed with an anti-tank missile. Exploded and killed them. This poor guy, they show the funeral, a clip from the funeral. After the eulogy that he said, you see such a warrior, such a nebbe, how he cries with a broken heart, trying very hard not to cry, but he can't control it. By the way, they say that this is the first time in his life that he cried. In horrible combats, in wars that he participated, so many people around him died, soldiers died. He always was strong not to cry. But I guess when you get older, you get more emotional, I don't know. Or when it's your own son, it's a different story. So then they ask him to say Kaddish. Very bad tragedy, but there is another tragedy here. There is another tragedy here. That the one that was in charge of the entire Israeli army, unfortunately, I'm saying it with a broken heart, does not know how to read one word in Hebrew. Every word of the Kaddish was a mistake. Every word. He didn't read one word correctly. He doesn't know how to read. I had turbulences in my head. I say to myself, wow, that's very, very scary. Because he was the chief of command only a few years ago. That means the one after him is probably even worse. Because the generation doesn't become smarter, unfortunately, with all the electronic today. And I say to myself, people that our life is in their hands, their decision will actually determine if we live or die. They have zero knowledge in Judaism and they don't even know how to read Hebrew. And when I say it in my previous lectures that even doctors in Israel don't know how to read Hebrew, people get upset. I say, okay, bring me any doctor you want, secular. I will show you that he doesn't know how to read. I did it one time. There was one arguing with me. I said, I have a Torah Sheni. I have 2 degrees. I said, I still tell you that you don't know how to read. How do you know? You know me? I said, I know of you and people like you. You think that you're the smartest people in the world, but you have zero education in Torah. You don't know how to read. Yeah, let's see. I gave him a page in the Rambam. Every word, it was a mistake. He brought it on himself. So when we see that our leaders, half of the people that sits in the government, ministers, people that make decisions, billions of dollars will go here, will go there, we will start a war, we will not start a war, we will have an hospital, we won't have an hospital, we will buy the right weapon, we won't buy the right weapon, we will allow freedom of religion or not. These are people that don't even know how to read. Understand what we're doing here? People that sit and make all the decisions in Israel. They have horrible education. I mean, when I was a child, everybody knew how to read. I mean, we would read books every day. There was no electronic, no Xbox, no games. They only invented Atari in my time. It was the first video game. Before that, there was nothing. Nothing. You used to go to a place, they had the machines, those machines. You put quarters and you play Eagles or Pac-Man. You know Pac-Man with the thing. This is what it used to be. There's no such thing. Like today, everyone is addicted to these and phones and games. So because of that, we were reading a lot of books. You read every day a book. You take from the library or the school. You go home. You read all kinds of books. When you read a lot, you learn how to read. You learn how to spell. You learn how to talk. You learn grammar. You have experience. Today it's a whole different generation. But he's from my generation, this one. He's older than me. He should have known how to read. We were taught how to read. The new generation, their teachers don't know how to read. You expect them to know. But our people in our age should have read fluently, especially when you're general of the entire army. Who would hire someone who doesn't know how to read? Nobody ever saw it. So that breaks the heart almost as much as the tragedy that he had, this poor guy. I mean, my heart goes for him. I mean, it's a disaster. It's a disaster. How many parents bury their children? It's the other way of nature. Nature are that children bury their parents. When parents bury the children, this is the opposite of the laws of nature. Should have been the other way around. By the way, that's one of the things that helps a person to get safe from hell. If he has to bury a child, of course no one would want it. But if it's already happened, at least there is a good side to it. That one day you will be saved because of the tragedy he had and the suffering and the broken heart. And it takes away all the livelihood of life. When a person has to bury his youngest kid, it takes away all his livelihood. Meaning from now on, this general will never ever enjoy anything anymore in life. Not trips, not movies, nothing. That's the way it is. My grandfather, which I name after him, lost his oldest son in 1947 in a battle to get independence in Israel. His general was Menachem Begin. His name was Mizrachi. He was only 17. There were no soldiers. They went and knocked on doors. Do you have any teenager here that can come and join us? The Arab wanted to slaughter us all. It was then when it became 1948, the Declaration of Independence. Immediately the Arabs started a big war against us. So he fought in Ramle. Ramle, that you see today, it's close to the airport. It was all orchards, orange trees. There was not that many buildings. He had to fight the Arabs over there. They come with old guns. We didn't even barely had guns. 20 minutes, they just taught them how to shoot, and that's it. We're going to fight for our life. If we lose, we'll all be dead. They will slaughter us all. We already knew back then who the Arabs are. They slaughtered us in Hebron 20, 30 years earlier, before Israel became a state. It's nothing to do with Israel, occupation, it's all baloney. Every time the Arab has an opportunity to slaughter the Jews, they will always do it. It will never change. This is the nature that Hashem made by Ishmael. That's it. So he died. Begin had to come to my grandfather to tell him that he's very sorry, but his son died. What do you think happened to my grandfather? From the minute he lost his son, he never ever came out of the room and out of bed until the day he died. Decades, he could not do anything. I remember I used to feed him with grinded apple to feed him. He didn't come out of bed. It's like someone in coma, doesn't want to get out of bed. Did not go anywhere, did not go to weddings, did not go to nothing. Stayed in a house until the day he died. Why? And all the time he was crying, I should have died instead of him. I should have died instead of him. Someone that has strong emunah in Hashem, that's the only way to come out of such a tragedy and function. Without emunah, your life is hell on earth. But if you have strong emunah, you can go back to almost normal life. I mean, yes, you're still going to have the pain, but you know that Hashem runs the world. And everything that happened, like I say, Kol man de'avid rachmana latav avid. You know that Hashem runs the world. And if somebody die young like this, that has to be a calculation for past life. There has to be a reason for it. But we have to ask the question, and that's what I told you this entire introduction. How is it possible when a tragedy happened that we are saying without any doubt that it's the best thing that could have happened? Isn't it a little bit too harsh? We could say, hey, it's not as bad as you think, there are reasons, Hashem knows what He's doing. Okay, I understand. You're making it a little bit sweeter. It's not as bitter when you explain it this way. But the question is, how is it possible that you can tell the parents who just lost the child that that's the best thing that could have happened to them? That's really the truth. Of course, no one will take that from you. Who can even believe such thing? But if you learn, in any book you learn, you see that right now when it happened, you know that that was the best case that could have happened. Now I'm asking, how do we explain such a thing? So I'll explain it to you. To lose a child is the best? No. To lose your business is good? No. To become sick 6 months in the hospital in bed is good? No. To have an accident and break every bone of your body is good? No. So why did Mara say it's the best thing that could have happened to you? Do you understand the contradiction or no? So I'll explain to you how it works. When Hashem gives a person a punishment, a smack, a slap, an accident, a disease, a tragedy, that's already after Hashem consider every possible mercy that He could have considered. Because this is the nature of Hashem, He's very merciful. Very merciful. After all the mercy, this tragedy had to happen to this person. Why? Why? Hashem can decide whatever He wants and avoid the tragedy. It's in His end. The answer, no, He can't. If He will do it, the world will go to an end. That's it. There's not going to be a world anymore. Because once Hashem made the world and He set up a set of rules, Torah means instructions, laws, commandments. You should not. Reward and punishment. Hashem divided the world to two sides. The sides of holiness and Hashem and the sides of the Satan. Some people are in the authority of the Satan. At one point, Hashem take them from the positive side because of their horrible behavior and all kinds of sins that they commit. And Hashem moved them to the hand of the Satan. He is now, as of now, one of your soldiers. You have permission to use him for anything you want to do in the world. Meaning, Satan, his job is to make people commit sins. That's what Hashem created him. His job is to ignite your evil inclination, to ignite your desire, to ignite your attraction to negative things, to matchmaking between your weaknesses to what the world has to offer. If you're a person that is addicted to meat, you cannot control yourself. See, barbecue, you must eat. The Satan will arrange for you to be invited to some birthday party and the meat will be all taref over there. This is his job. He knows your weakness. If your weakness is women, he will get you into a place and some goya would come and drive you crazy and make you lose your olam haba. That's his job. But he won't give someone that is a modest person, he won't make a match between him and the goya because that person is not looking for it. But if it was a person who likes to eat all the time, he will attack him with his weakness, which is food. If a person is greedy and love money, all he cares about is to have money, he will give them opportunity to make easy money in a non-kosher way. Insurance fraud, scam, forge all kinds of things. Opportunity to steal, to cheat. According to the weakness of a person. If a person is Shomer Shabbat, solid all his life, from the minute he came to the world, it doesn't come to convince him to become a Chalel Shabbat. He knows, the Satan knows there's no point. He's already Shomer Shabbat 50 years. It's not even open for negotiation. But he has a very bad mouth, Lashon Hara all day. Let me get him with what he's weak with. That's his job, the Satan. After he makes you commit the sin, immediately he runs to Hashem, and it's called mekatreg, to instigate. When Hashem wants to give you a nice car, a brand new car, until now you were taking buses. Hashem won on Rosh Hashanah, finally, that you will have your own car to help you to have enough parnasah to buy a car that you don't suffer in rain, waiting for buses, it's crowded, trains, a lot of headache. Public transportation, it's not easy. Immediately the Satan comes. Objection. Why would you give such a... Look what he did this year. Stole here, cheat here, did this, not that, Lashon Hara all day. Because of him, someone lost his job. The Satan is objecting. That's his job. Remember, he's the prosecutor. He's making you commit the sin. He's the witness against you. And he's submitting the law, the case against you. The lawsuit. And he tried to make in the court of heaven a case against you every day. Every day. Hashem is the judge. So who is the defense? There is an angel that comes to defend you. After all, you do a lot of good things. You give charity, that's a very big thing. Let's see if you keep Shabbat, it's a very big thing. If you help people with all kinds of problems, you Baal Chesed, it's a very big thing. So the defense lawyer, which is another angel, is trying to say anything he can to prevent you from being punished. The Satan presents his case, and Hashem has to make a fair decision. Hashem is 100% honesty, 100% solid truth. He does not, it's written, lo yisa panim velo yikach shochad. Hashem does not take a favorite in a court case and will never accept any kind of bribe. How can you even think you can bribe Hashem? Anybody here thinks there's a way to bribe Hashem? I mean, the Torah said that Hashem will never accept bribe, but why would you even need to write such thing in the Torah? Why, you have to be super stupid to think that I can bribe Hashem. What will I offer him? $1,000? All the money I have came from him. I'll give you $1,000, don't kill me, please. It looks a little bit silly, no? What does it mean you cannot bribe Hashem? Lo yikach shochad, lo yisa panim, velo yikach shochad. Hashem does not take bribe. What possibility I have to even think that I can bribe Hashem? What will I do? Smile to him with a nice smile? What will I do? What kind of bribe I can offer him? I offer him my car, my house? What will I offer him? My watch? To people, you can come into term. Listen, I give you this suitcase full of money, don't kill me. Or, you know, how the criminals comes to the FBI. I know you want to put me behind bars for the rest of my life, but I have a very valuable information for you. I can help you to bring down the entire network. You don't really want me. I'm only a small drug dealer. I can tell you the one who's in charge of all United States. But I want immunity. The government knows that we have a very big criminal. He should have been 20 years in prison. But we have a much better fish now. This is a small fish. It's going to give us the shark, the whale. It's much better for our honor. If I am the head of the FBI, I don't want to come to the news conference and say we caught a local drug dealer in Main Street, Queens. Who cares about this? We want to say we caught the head of the cartel of Mexico that sold drugs all over the United States for the past 20 years. Immediately I will be promoted to the Attorney General after something like this. Or to the head of the FBI. They want publicity. They don't care so much about justice. What's in it for me, the prosecutor thing? But in Shamayim it's not like that. The Satan is an angel. He acts only according to Hashem guidelines. And Hashem is a fair judge. So what kind of bribe we can offer Hashem? I'll tell you what. People that are righteous, they also know that they have some sins that they commit. No one is perfect, right? It's very, very difficult to find someone who doesn't commit sins. So now, when a person is extremely righteous, and let's say that he commits one sin a day, that's it, one sin a day. 1 minute he get angry, that's it, once in 24 hours. A word of Lashon Hara here and there. He made a bracha without thinking about the name of Hashem. Small sins. Well, now he's thinking, Hashem will send someone like me to hell. It's not possible. I learn all day Torah. I teach Torah. I put tefillin. I eat strictly kosher. My wife is extremely modest. My kids are in the best yeshivot. We keep 100% mikveh, taharat mishpacha, all the laws. Everything by us is superb, you know. We're not just modern. We're very religious. Yes, here and there we do things that we're not allowed to do. I mean, we are human. So what will be, when we die, we will make a deal with Hashem. Dear God, look, I made 95% good things, 5% bad things. Let's make a deal. Take credit for my good deeds, for my credit that you owe me for the next world. Take 5% off. Cancel the 5% bad that I deserve to be punished for. Wipe this with that. And pay me for 90% of my credit. Decrease 5 from here, 5 from here. Make it even. Don't send me to hell. I don't want to be clean in a hard way. I don't want to be in Auschwitz in a minute. I don't want my soul to go through the process of fire and getting cleansed from all the spiritual stains of the sins. No. I'd rather give up some of my merits. So I kept 5,000 Shabbats in my life. Take 10 of them off. Whatever, it's enough to clear the sins. It's not enough. I put tefillin 10,000 times in my life. Take 100 of them off. Wipe out all the other sins. Take what you need to take to make my file clean. The answer is, that's bribe. You're offering me bribe from the good credits that you have to look around, to look away from your crimes. And not to give you what the Torah said that you're going to get when you commit those sins. This is what Hashem meant when he said, Lo yisa panim velo yikach shochad. Lo yisa panim, meaning even you, the chief rabbi of the world, I still judge you fairly just like I judge the smallest or the most wicked Jew. Everything according to what the Torah says. That's why if a person thinks, I have nothing to worry about because I'm so righteous, big deal, Hashem will waive some of my credits. Please don't count on it. But there is one exception to the rule. But I'm not going to tell it to you. There's one way that if you do something specific constantly in your life, Hashem will not be able to judge you for your sins. I already said it in one of the lectures in the past. That's what's written in the Zohar. Again, we cannot translate it literally. We don't know what it means. But it's written in the Zohar that if someone does kiruv, here I'm teaching you the secret, someone that saves souls, influence Jews to become religious, when the trial of this person starts, it's very, very big problem to punish him for his sins. Why? Because it's a contradiction. He has 10,000, 50,000 students. Everyone who learned Torah by him, listened to him, read his books, and became religious. Some of the people became religious, became rabbis, became important religious people, modest women, smart Talmidei Chachamim in yeshivot. So all his students are going to a very good place in heaven. And he's going to be the teacher of all of them that saved their entire life, their entire family, the entire Olam Haba. He's going to sit in hell in Auschwitz. It's disrespect for the Torah. He deserved it. He took advantage. But it's a problem for Hashem. Why? Because you get the point. That's, by the way, the reason why Hashem helped the father of Avraham Avinu, Terach, to do tshuva. There was a very big Mahti Arabim. And the Gemara say, כל המחטיא את הרבים, אין מספיקים בידו לעשות tshuva. Someone that influenced the public to commit sins, play bad music, make mixed parties, put not modest pictures on the streets. There's many ways to, or just a woman who walks in the street not modest and man looks at it. That's Machtiyat Arabim. Every person that committed a sin as a result of your actions, you are responsible for that. So it could be that every minute of your life, walking in the street not modest, you gaining thousands of sins in 1 minute walking. Because every man who looked at you in Manhattan when you walk with your not modest clothing, everyone who thought about you, everyone who looked, everyone who focused, it's another sin to your file. 1, 2, 10, 20, 50, 100, 5,000. Now multiplied by 20, 30 years that a woman walks to show herself everywhere. And if she's online, I don't know, this Instagram, Facebook, posting pictures, bechlal, it could be millions. Millions, all kinds of goyim all over the world looking at it. People sharing, Shem Yerachem. A mother of Jewish kids in yeshiva, and all kinds of Arabs and Pakistanis and Indians and Nazis in Europe are looking at this Jewish mother, not modest pictures, or where she walks. I don't have to tell you the embarrassment here. So Hashem did not want to upset Avraham Avinu. He's going to be in heaven. He made a lot of Baalei Tshuva, ואת הנפש אשר עשו בחרן, and his father Terach will go to hell. But we have a problem. What's the problem? We have a rule. Someone who influenced the public to be wicked. How can we allow the same mouth that was so filthy and such a hazard in the world to so many people all of a sudden to be a doctor? A mass murderer can turn into a surgeon to save life? It's a joke. Who would accept him to medical school? Why? I have very good hand. Look at me, I can cut. I never shake. I'm very, very good. And I have very high IQ. I can pass easy medical school in 2 years. Yes, but you kill people. You murder people. So what? This was in the past. Now I want to save people. No one will take him serious. But how all of a sudden Hashem allowed Terach that was selling idols to all the people, making statues and selling them as idols, and people come buy idols and bow down to these idols. Manufacturer of idols he was, handmade, making idols. How all of a sudden he did tshuva? Not for him, for Abraham Avinu, that Abraham will not have an embarrassment. If Terach will die in the time of Abraham as a wicked person, all the people who admire Abraham as the representative of God, as a preacher, as someone that speaks the truth of God to the whole world, and his own father was an idol worshipper and murdering souls. What kind of an honor is this? To prevent that embarrassment from Abraham, Hashem made Terach do tshuva, to repent in the end of his life. However, what about all the sins that he committed? He sent him back to the world in a new body, reincarnation. But this time he has to suffer for all the horrible things he did in his past life. Who was Terach in the new life? Eov. Job. Famous story of Job. Eov. Eov is the father of all the Druzim. You know the Druzim? There is a tribe in Israel, very similar to Arabs, the language similar, but they're completely different than the Arabs. They are pro-Israel, they love Jews, they join the army, many of them died to defend the land. You can count on one hand, in the last 50, 60 years, how many of them were traitors. You don't have lefties by them. They're all very, very strong, extremists, defending Israel. They're very anti-Arab. If it was up to them, if they would be in the government, you wouldn't have one Arab left alive in Gaza now. If the Druzim would run the government. They kidnapped one Druzi child about 6 months ago. 300 of them covered their face with machine guns, and they spoke in Arabic. We're coming now. If we're not going to get by 5 a.m. the boy back, a guy that went to buy something in an Arab village, they kidnapped him. It's Druzi. All his family, cousins, uncles, neighbors, everyone with machine guns. We are coming now to one of these Arab villages. I think it's Judea and Samaria, maybe it was in Gaza, I don't know where. And we won't leave one of you alive. By 5 a.m. the boy was home. They know they're not Jewish. With Jews, we always fool the Jews. The Jews naive, stupid. They have faith in us. They believe in Hamas. They don't understand we're here to slaughter them. They make agreements with us, like you can make an agreement with a monster. But the Druzim, they know our mentality very well. Let's not mess with them. We're going to pay big time. Right away, the kidnapped boy he's 20 years old. He came right back. Right away, they released him. They didn't ask, release terrorists from jail. No. Immediately, the boy came back. These Druzim, according to tradition, they are the children of They are the children of Yitro, not Eov. Yitro. You know Yitro? The father-in-law of Moshe Rabbeinu? They believe they came from Jethro. I don't know. Whatever the case may be. This Eov had horrible tragedies in his life. His children died, he lost all his money, he lost all his friends, became sick. Who was this Eov? Terach, the father of Abraham Avinu. Now he's paying for what he did in his past life. But in this life, he was the most righteous person, one of the most righteous people in the world. Because the Satan asked permission from Hashem to attack him. Hashem say you're allowed to attack him, but you're not allowed to kill him. Meaning you're allowed to give him all kinds of smacks, but you cannot kill him. But he asked, who is like Abraham? He said, Lech etzel Eov. Here, go to Eov. But what's the difference between Avraham and Eov? When Avraham had a problem, he did not even think to question anything against Hashem. Take your son, your only son, you waited for him 75 years, go and slaughter him, sacrifice him. Avraham doesn't even think, how can it be? You promised me that I will have a son that will inherit me. Now you're telling me to kill him? No question asked. Not even one bad thought about Hashem ever, Avraham. But Yitro, Eov, different story. He was complaining. Hashem doesn't like complainers. Mitonenim. Eov say to Hashem, what happened? You made a mistake between Eov and Oyev. It's the same letters. Eov, it's Aleph, Yud, Vav, Bet. Oyev is the same letters, just in a little bit different order. Aleph, Vav, Yud, Bet. Eov, Oyev. Same 4 letters, different order. Eov said to Hashem, I'm your biggest supporter. I gave my life for the religion. By the way, he wasn't a Jew, Eov. Eov was a righteous Gentile. In the Tanakh, there's no discrimination. If you're a righteous Gentile, you're a very important person. If you're a righteous Jew, you're a very important person. If you're a wicked Jew or a wicked Gentile, you're very bad. A few days ago, actually it was last Tuesday, I went to a barber shop in Manhattan on my way to Brooklyn. It's much close to the Battery Tunnel there. Battery Tunnel. Why did I pass there? The guy ordered from me many mezuzot. They bought a house in Long Island, so they're moving in. They need very good mezuzot. Plus, he wanted me to give him 2 boxes of my books, Preparation for Eternal Life. He wants to give it to his customers. Bukhari and Barber. It's a beautiful place, very good location. So, it's on my way. I'm going to send it with UPS, 2 boxes of books, it's going to cost you hundreds of dollars. It's anyway I'm passing there. Let me drop it in the mezuzot. I stop by, Right away, let's do l'chaim, Rabbi. As I walked in, he was giving a haircut to a goy. Non-Jew. Goy. As soon as the goy saw me in the mirror, he's facing the mirror. I'm behind him. Turn around, Rabbi, I'm addicted to your lecture. He said to me, he's not Jewish, right away, the Bukhari, he's not Jewish. But he loves you. He listens to you all day. As the conversation went by, I said to him, the most important thing, that you should be righteous. Jewish, not Jewish, everyone is whatever Hashem made him. But you want to be a righteous Gentile. And the Goy admired it. He said, right, absolutely. There are good people and bad people. Righteous people are good, whether they're Jewish, whether they're not Jewish. And wicked people are bad. It also doesn't matter what they are. You're righteous or wicked. That's the bottom line. The Goyim, it's much easier for them to be righteous. They don't have that much to do. 7 main laws. They have to be good people, decent, not to be racist, not to be anti-Semite, not to murder, not to steal, to believe in one God, follow the court and the police. Don't eat any animal unless the animal is dead first. Not to commit sex crime with the closest relative. No homosexuality or any intimacy with animals. And that's it. They're basically already righteous Gentiles. If they follow those 7 laws, and every law that is required by common sense, meaning to beat up people in the street, that's against the common sense. Not to steal, it's one of the 7 laws. But even if he wasn't, they should have known not to steal, because that's something that every normal person understands. You should not be a thief, right? You go to some tribe in Zimbabwe, in Brazil, in the Amazonas. You go to those people naked with the chain, dancing samba, with the drums, They don't know how to read or to write. They didn't go to college. They don't have a GED. They grew up in a jungle with animals, with monkeys, with elephants. They live in a jungle. But they know that if you steal what your friend got, you're a criminal. How do they know? They never heard about the 10 Commandments. This is simple common sense. Hashem made the person with common sense. You may ask, wait a minute, but we see all these lefty liberals, their common sense is dead. Bernie Sanders, there's no brain. Everything he likes is the opposite of the truth. Everything he hates is what you should love. Akol etzlo hafuch. Hates the Jews, hates Israel, love Hamas, love Palestine. What's going on with you? You're a Jew or not? Everything by him is the opposite of the truth. But he's not the only one. In Israel you have tens of thousands of Bernie Sanders. And some of them are in key positions. Government, in universities, inside Israel, traders inside Israel. Cooperating with the International Court of Hague in Holland to prosecute Israeli soldiers who give their life to defend the Jews that are being attacked with missiles and rockets. So the soldiers are trying to find those who killed Israelis and Jews, and those lefties run and give their name and ID. And if one day they fly to Europe, they'll be arrested and be prosecuted for war crimes. We are in self-defense. They are coming to murder us non-stop. And we have to be judged because we try to save our children from death. And why does it happen to us? Because we have these Erev Rav lefty liberals inside who betray us already for who knows how many decades. They are in control of the court, they control the Supreme Court, they control everything. They control the media, they sit in TV, channel 11, 12 and 13, Imach Shimam. Propaganda, lefty, communist propaganda, anti-Jewish, anti-religion, anti-Israel, worse than Al Jazeera. Al Jazeera is not as bad as channel 11, 12 and 13. Only one good channel, 14. Only one. If you want to hear news, that's the only channel it's kosher. Every other channel is all propaganda for the left. We get the point. The prosecutor is the Satan. He is trying to bring as many tragedies on every one of us, as an individual and as a unit, as a nation. Hashem, we are his children. He would love to find any answer to mute the mouth of the Satan. That's why we say when we pray, Chatom pe Satan, ve'al yastin alenu, ze'om bo ve'idom, ve'u yagid yoshrenu. What does it mean, Chatom pe Satan? Seal the mouth of the Satan. Seal the mouth of the Satan. That he could not prosecute us. Ze'om bo ve'idom. Be angry at him. Be tough with the Satan. That he should be mute. Idom means mute. Hu yagid yoshrenu. Not only he won't prosecute, he will actually say good things about us, which is against his nature. His job is to bring all the negative, not the good. Hu yagid yoshrenu. The Satan help us to get to a situation that when the Satan wants to say something bad about us, he won't be able to open his mouth. And when the defense angel would say the good things about us, the Satan would say, I approve, I agree. It's true. No further questions, Your Honor. How many people like this you have in the world? We can count on one hand. The Satan has nothing to say negative about them. You know, on Shabbat we read in the Haftarah that the Satan came to Yoshua. Yoshua was dressed with very, very dirty clothes, בגדים צועים. The Satan עומד לימינו. The Satan is ready to attack him. I told you, Satan is an angel. And it's written over there, ויאמר השם אל השטן, וזה, טוב. One time, one Jew came to a synagogue, somewhere in Europe. He walks into the synagogue, he looks at the parochet, and he sees on the parochet, there is a sign, לעילוי נשמת שמואל שטן, for the elevation of the soul of Shmuel Satan. Did you ever hear about a Jew that his last name is Satan? I know Satan, all kinds of similar, but Satan? Never found one. Except that one. Shmuel, Satan. How do you say Satan in Arabic? Shaytun. Look, they steal all the words from us. They just make a little change.
Wasn't that in Morocco?
How they say Ishmael, Ismail. How they say Avraham, Ibrahim. How they say Yosef, Yusuf. How they say David, Daoud. So you see the words, how similar they are? Even their language they stole from us.
Moses is Musa.
Moshe, it's Musa. Similar. How they say Miriam? Mariam. How they say Yaakov? Yaqub. How they say Yitzchak? Esau. Like the Bukhari, Esau. So, Rabotai, right away the person saw it's written, Leilui Nishmat Shmuel Satan, he ran to the Gabbai of the Shul. Tell me, you actually had in a community a Jew, his last name was Satan? He said, man, you don't know the story? No? How should I know? He said, it's been a long, long time ago. There was a very righteous person in a community. His name was Rabbi Shmuel Halevi. Shmuel Halevi. How Levi became Satan? One time this tzaddik walked on the street and he found a wallet. Opened the wallet, full of cash, and the identification card of the prince, the son of the king. Immediately he ran to the palace. He knocked on the door. The guards opened the door. Can we help you? He said, I found the wallet of the prince. I came to return it. Give it to us, we'll give it to him. Good luck with that. No, I'm sorry, I must, according to my religion, to hand it to him in his hand. Okay, let's see if he's available. They called the prince. They found the wallet. Oh, really? I'm looking for it all day. There's some Jew here, religious Jew, he said that he has to give it to you in your hand. He's waiting on the street. The father and the son. The king also came. He was curious to see the Jew. They came out to the street and he said, thank you so much for returning the wallet. The king said to the prince, check, make sure all the cash is there. They counted the cash. Everything was there. So the king said to the Jew, I'm very, very proud of you. I would like to pay you back. What should I do to you? Does any help you need? The rabbi said, no, I do not need any reward from you. I did it because Hashem said so. I do what Hashem said and I don't want to benefit from someone's lost object. So I return it. No, you're insulting us. If the woman will go out that you will return the wallet to the kingdom and they did not reward you for that, how people would look at me as a king? It's very bad for me. I must benefit you. He said to him, no, don't worry, Hashem is benefiting me every day. No need to worry about it. So the king said, okay, I see you stubborn, but maybe one day you change your mind and you will have something to say. Let me give you a card of mine with a stamp. I owe you one favor. If you ever need a favor, come to me with a card. It will remind me what is it about. Here is my signature. Take the card. Goodbye. Rabbi Shmuel Alevi went back to the community. 2 years passed by, and a war started. Now the king, this king, is now he needs a lot of money to run the war. War costs a lot of money. His advisors say, you need to go and triple the tax to the Jews. Right now they pay 30-something%, make it 80% until the war will end. How are you going to pay for all the expenses? They make a lot of money. Let them pay for the war. The king published a letter, all Jews, there was no democracy or human rights in those days. King does whatever he wants. All Jews must pay 80% until further notice. And Jews are going crazy. What's the point of opening the stores? 80% go to taxes, they're left with nothing. Everyone is depressed, economy, this, what's going to be with expenses. One person remembered that the king owed a favor to Rabbi Shmuel Alevi. They knocked on his door. Rabbi Shmuel, you have to save the community. You have that magic card, no? Get out of jail free, no? Go quickly to the king. Tell him you want to cash out on the cards. No, but I did it for the Shem Shamayim, for the sake of heaven. I don't want to be paid in this world for that. Listen, don't be too righteous now. Our entire community is in jeopardy. Run. Took the card, he came to the palace, it was Wednesday. 1 minute to 4. The time, it says that the king accepts people with complaints from 10 to 4. You need to make an appointment. He doesn't have an appointment. 1 minute to 4. The king is already putting his jacket on, is about to go out. It's in his office there. He's about to go out, to go to his room, to his bed. And Shmuel Alevi came with a note. He said to him, oh, come back next Wednesday. For today we finish. No crowd is allowed. He said to him, it's an emergency. I cannot wait for next Wednesday. It has to be done today, please, Your Majesty. He said, listen, we have less than a minute. If you can tell me your problem in with 4 words, I will allow you to say it now. If it's longer, come back next Wednesday. He said to him, okay, 4 words. Go ahead. He said to him, Vayomer Hashem el Satan. This is from our Haftarah, what we read in the Shul on Shabbat. And God said to the Satan. he got him curious. What did God say to the Satan? So the king said, what did he say to him? He said, 4 words. Not allowed to talk. Come on, enough with your nonsense. Tell me what he said to the Satan. He started to tell him a story about the Haftarah, and through that, he told him about the horrible decree that nobody wants to work anymore. He crushed the community. And he reminded him about the wallet from 2 years ago. The king said, listen, deal is a deal. I gave you the note. I told you I owe you a favor. You tricked me. You came. You knew how to squeeze yourself in. My curiosity got me to listen to you, and then now I have to pay the price. I have to keep my word. I signed. But since you fooled me with no shame, I will only allow to cancel the decree in one condition. That from now on, your new name will be Satan. What's your first name? Shmuel? Shmuel Satan. No more Shmuel Alevi. You agree? Immediately he said, absolutely. Of course. So remember, I'm going to put spies in the shul. If I will hear anyone tell you Alevi, Rabbi Levi, immediately I put back the tax. The king was sure in 2-3 days he's going to put back the tax. Who's going to call him Satan now in a Jewish community? One thing he did not estimate right, he underestimated Jews. They work very hard for their money, but they're not that dumb to let it go to the drain. What does it say in the parasha? Yaakov went back to get the barrel, pachim ktanim. Why Yaakov care about a little pach? Big deal, pach. Go to Chinatown, buy a new one for $5. Marshall, you cross the river to get a little bucket. The answer is because righteous people make their money honestly. That's why they appreciate what they have. They don't like to let it go to the waste. It's bal tashrit. Every little thing, if they can preserve it and use it forever, they use it forever. They won't let it go there to the garbage. Today, unfortunately, people make money not in an honest way. So they don't care. They cheat, they steal, they lie, they cheat the government, they cheat the customer. Money comes anyway, they don't care, they don't appreciate anything. Why? Money comes easy. If they would make everything 100% in a legal way, it would be 100 times before they let go to 1 penny. You know, the Chafetz Chaim had a grocery store, small, tiny one. The Chafetz Chaim one day decided to close the grocery store, not to sell it, to shut it down, even though it was profitable. He made parnasah from that grocery store. He was learning, teaching, the biggest rabbi in Europe, in Radin, and he closed his grocery store. They asked him, what happened, Rabbi? He said, I came to the conclusion that it's impossible to own a business and not to cheat. To be 100% honest, you make mistakes here, you make mistake with the weight of the cheese, the bread maybe is one smaller than the other, one customer paid 10 rubles for this bread, the other one got in the bakery a little bit smaller. There is all kinds of question marks. I don't want to come to Olam Haba with stolen goods in my hand. I closed the business. Today, ask one owner of a business, one merchant, if he learned once in his life the laws of business, buying and selling. Ask. People have businesses, 47th Street, boots, this, stores, import, export, wholesale, mail order. Ask them, did you ever learn the law of Mekach u'Mimkar? There's a lot of laws. What you're allowed to say to the customer, what you're not allowed, this, what happened if it's damaged, if the messenger broke it, who hired the messenger, you know how many laws you have? If someone asks you, send it to me with UPS, and UPS lost it, who is responsible for that? You send someone something that cost $1,000 now. Cost you from your pocket $1,000. You sold it to him for $1,200. You're supposed to make $200 profit. He told you, send it to me with UPS. You called UPS, they took it. and it was never delivered. You lost now $1,000 from your pocket. So what do? You insure the package. They never pay. You're never going to get a penny from them. They take extra double shipping, and then they give you some number, and nobody ever answers this number, and they never pay. It's a scam. All this insurance, all this. I don't know about other carriers, or UPS doesn't pay. I asked once my shipping guy, insure it. So what's the point, Rabbi? Do you think they will ever pay? He does a lot of other shipping. Whatever goes lost, there's nobody to talk to. But they take the money, and then they steal. They sell insurance, and they don't insure the product. So now who has to lose it? Do you understand? Who hired the messenger? The buyer or the seller? That's the question now. If the seller send it to me with this carrier, he chose him with Reuven, private carrier. He will come with a van, my friend, he will pick it up. His friend lost it, it's your problem, you have to pay for it. If he works for me, the delivery guy, it's my problem. The customer doesn't have to lose. I have to send him a new one. It's a lot of laws. Nobody learns. Impossible not to be a thief if you don't learn. Even if you're naturally an honest person. If you're not naturally an honest person, if you don't know, you make mistakes. So, Shmuel Halevi came, Rabotai, from now on my name is Shmuel Satan. Don't ever dare to call me Shmuel Halevi. When you give me Aliyah to the Torah, don't say Halevi. There are spies who pass by. If one of you will say Levi, good luck with the tax. Nothing will save you. And right away, in all the synagogues, the rabbis preach to the people. Back then, people used to listen to the rabbis. The rabbi said, no one will dare to ever say Shmuel Halevi. Remember, Satan, Satan, Satan. 20, 30 years is being abused, this tzaddik. People call him Satan, Boina Satan, Kabir Satan, 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 Rabbi Satan. I'm sure some people made fun, took advantage on the opportunity.
Why did they call him Shmuel?
You know how many Shmuel you have?
Yeah.
Avra, 500 people. You know what? I'll tell you what. Go to Monroe, to the Satmer Big Shul. Walk in and scream, Yoili! 500 kids will turn. Vuz! Why half of the kids in Satmer are named Yoili? After the holy, legendary, huge tzaddik, Chacham, Rav Yoel Misatmer, the founder of the Satmer Hasidut. Who else you going to call your child after? Your entire Ashkafa comes from this Vayoel Moshe. Very, very big tzaddik Yesod Olam. Very much anti-Zionim, anti-this communist Kofrim. Strong Emunah in Hashem. Wow. We need someone that came today in the world like better than oxygen. People like him and Rav Victor Miller would help the generation so much. We can only sit and cry now. We don't have them anymore. Anyway, so a lot of the children are named Yoeli. Yoeli means a nickname for Yoel. Yoeli. Like Yosef, Yossi. Like Avraham, Avrami. You get the point, right? So Yoeli. Now if you go to Breslev, go to the big Breslev in Yerushalayim, you scream, Nachman! 500 kids turn around, Vuz. Then you scream, Natan! The other 500 kids say Vuz. You cover the whole community. There are two names by Breslev, Nachman and Natan. Nachman is Rabbi Nachman in Breslev. And his main student, Rabbi Natan. So after they named the first child Nachman, what's the second boy would be? Natan. And if they have a daughter, what will be her name? Feiga. Who is Feiga? The mother of Rav Nachman. Rav Nachman ben Feiga. Why? Respecting the tzaddikim. Very nice. Sfaradim, you don't have it like this. You can have all kinds of names. Eliyahu, wow, Ben Ish Chai. What's this? Yosef Chaim, Ben Ish Chai. Eliyahu, Gaon Vilna. Ovadia Yosef. Me, you, Ma, Yuda Tzadka.
Shalom.
You know, there's a lot of everyone named after a different Chacham. We don't have Hasidiyot, one Rebbe for everyone. That's why we have a variety of names. You get the point or no? So Rabotai, by the time this Shmuel HaTzadik, Shmuel HaLevi passed, nobody even remembered that his name was HaLevi. They wrote on a parochet in the synagogue, Le'ilui Nishmat, for the elevation of the soul of Shmuel Satan. Maybe they did remember, but it was a great honor to write that name that they gave him, because when you come to Shamayim, that's what you come with. I suffered 30 years for the community. I wasn't selfish. I took the abuse, I took the shame, I took the jokes, and why did I do all of that? To help all the people not to go bankrupt. And this is from this Shabbat parasha. Vayomer Hashem el Satan. How did he have such a clever idea? From here we learn that if someone says, I don't have time for you right now, you have to say a sentence that will get him very curious. You know, they say curiosity killed the cat. The cat is looking for mice to eat. They put some trap over there and he dies. What killed him? Curiosity. He was looking around. Curiosity is from Yetzer HaTov or Yetzer Hara? Always Yetzer Hara. If you want to know more Torah, it's Yetzer HaTov. But anything else in life, you want to know what happened in that shul on Shabbat. You heard there's a rumor. You want? What? You were there? You know anyone was there? What do you need for? When you report there, what do you need to know? Curiosity. Everyone knows and I don't know. It's very curious. Do you know how sometimes you have traffic here in New York? You suffer 20 minutes until you find out there was an accident? Why everyone slow down? The car is off the road.
On the other side.
Everyone is curious to see what happened there. They all look. So they slow down to look and everybody suffers.
They call it Rabbanik.
Rabotai, I want to read to you something. We have 15 minutes left. It's written in the parasha, וישב יעקב בארץ מגורי אביו. Yaakov settled in the city of his father. Chazal are saying, what does it mean וישב Yaakov? What does it mean וישב? Meaning he wants to settle now. I'm old now. I'm not as young as I was. Let me retire. Enjoy what life has to offer. I worked very hard. I learned very hard. I was many years in yeshiva. I was doing. I was helping. I was volunteering. I want to enjoy now. Enjoy the grandkids, grandpa, Zaidi, who's master, how are you? Eat well, go fishing a little bit. That's the dream of the old people. Yaakov didn't want this nonsense. All he cared about is, let me have a peace of mind. I'll sit, learn Torah, continue, but I don't want any more problems. I had enough. The Gemara says, קפץ עליו רוגזו של יוסף. Immediately, he saw the image of Yosef. The Gemara says, Hashem says, tzadikim מבקשים להישב בשלווה. Righteous people wants to sit in this world in peace, meaning peace of mind. They don't want problems. אומר להם הקדוש ברוך הוא, Hashem says to them, לא די להם לצדיקים, מה שמתוקן להם לעולם הבא. It's not enough for them that I prepared for them life of eternity in the highest level of peace and pleasure. They also want, in a place of a test, which is this world, to also sit in peace and pleasure. Meaning Hashem doesn't like it. Here you came to work very hard until the last breath of your life. Adam la'amal yulad. You didn't come here to retire with your white hat in Miami with your cigar, driving your convertible. I'm religious. Minimum Rav Ovadia you are. Why so many religious Jews move to all kinds of places like this? Miami, Florida. What for? To live in vacation. Water everywhere, boats everywhere, fancy Ferraris everywhere, fancy banking everywhere, beautiful apartment with the sea view. Yeah, weather, Rabbi, the weather. What the weather? You walk in the street, 5 steps a week. Weather. From your garage, you already start the car with the remote, it's boiling already when you go in. You came to wherever you have to go, quickly you jump in. Back into the car, you don't walk 100 steps a week. Most people, it's all through the car. Huh? Those who need buses and stuff like that, okay, it's a different story. They have to wait, freeze, different story. Maybe they have an excuse. I wanted a warm place. But all these rich and famous here, they don't walk 100 steps a month on the streets. Where do they walk? What? They walk to the shuk, buying cucumbers like this, from one put to another, in Machne Yehuda. What do? They have people who does everything for them. Why they need to move there? Because the Yetzer Hara is constantly pushing it. Your friend move. They're telling you how wonderful it is. It's nothing. It's moving from Yerushalayim to Sodom. Check what happened to Lot when he moved. He also moved to Sodom. Now what was his end? Oh no, there are good synagogues, there are places, there's learning. Of course, if there's not going to be synagogues, no one would move. How the Satan will attract them to move? He gives some nice synagogue with great kiddush, beautiful herring, Moroccan cigars, 21 years whiskey, wonderful chulent. They have the life. Where is the mikveh? On the beach. We just have to read Tehillim that no naked people will walk by. So those who still have fear from God, they go at 6 a.m. Baruch Hashem, the women don't come at 6 a.m. But the rest that don't have Yirat Shamayim, they come in the middle of the day. What will happen if a bunch of goyim, teenagers, girls will come with bathing suit over there? You lose the olam haba. I went to the mikveh. Do you understand what happened when you don't know Torah? Mikveh is a beautiful custom, but it's not an obligation. Very productive, very positive, puring the soul, preparation for Shabbat, everything beautiful. But to go 1,000 times to the mikveh, and one time a girl with bikini would walk to the water or into the water or pass by or run next to you, and you looked at it one time, the 1,000 times mikveh did not cover what you're going to get for the forbidden sin. That's already so d'oraita. It's like eating pork. If you come to someone now, Mendel, I will allow you to go to the mikveh the entire month. In one condition, you eat with me 1 steak of pork. You know any kosher Jew that will agree? He will have to give up the mikveh. Why? Mikveh is so important. No question about it. But I will eat pork in order for me to go to the mikveh? Sin from the Torah. You're not allowed to eat pork. It's a sin, restriction in the Torah from Hashem, directly. But the Satan is a genius. No. Mikveh ze ya'arek velo ya'avor. You must go. But it's not modest over there. Don't worry, no one will come. Shluchei mitzvah enam nizokim. You're busy with mitzvah, no damage will come to you. Good luck. So Hashem said to Yaakov, you want a peace of mind. What's waiting for you to the next eternal world, it's not enough. Now, do you know anyone in the entire Tanakh? The entire Tanakh, the 24 books of the Tanakh, that had a more miserable life than Yaakov? You ever saw someone who suffered so much like Yaakov? The love of his life, Rachel, died young. She gives birth to Binyamin, 36, passed. 20 years he was taken advantage by the biggest crook in the Torah, Lavan. 20 years made him work like a slave to get something he should have got for free. 20 years he worked hard to be a shepherd. 20 years is not easy. It's like being in Siberia in a working camp, maybe without the ice. You know, in Siberia, you know how they light Hanukkah candle? There's few Jews there. Do you know what the menorahs in Siberia are? From ice. They fill it up with water. They take the plastic out because it freezes right away. And it stays like this. The time of Hanukkah, it doesn't melt. You put the cups on top, put oil, and light. Clear ice menorah. You come back by the end of Hanukkah, it's still there. It's not melting. It's always below zero there. Siberia. Better, you don't need to pay $2,000 for silver menorah. Water is free. Just need the shape of the menorah, fill it up with water, wait an hour or two, it freezes. You have menorah for the whole year. Siberia. So, Yaakov, what's his life? Let's analyze it quickly. One problem after the other. One problem after the other. One is Esav. Wants to kill him. 34 years he lives in fear. 34 years until finally Esav came with 400 men. Do you know what it means to live 34 years when you know the Hamas is searching for you to slaughter you? Do I have to tell you what kind of life you have? Your murderer brother swore that he will murder you, and you have to hide from him. You ran away to Lavan. You hid in yeshiva 14 years, plus 20 more years you were in the house of Lavan, 34 years. You just left Lavan's house, and Esau showing up with 400 mercenaries. You can drop dead just from the fear. 400 men with weapons coming to kill me and my children. 34 years living with this fear. One day it will show up. Just this alone, it's a nightmare. Then his daughter Dina, Shem Yerachem, Shem ben Hamor, kidnapped her. Did horrible things to her, just like the Hamas did to the Israeli girls. Kidnapped and raped. I don't have to tell you what happened to a father, that something like this happened to his daughter by some lousy monster, murderer goy. Life will never be the same. The second love of his life, Yosef. After Rachel, Yosef, most favorite son. Animal ate him up. Look, you recognize his clothes full of blood? Wow. An animal ate my son. How can you recuperate from such tragedy? Animal, first your son is eaten. Second, your wife is dead in her delivery, young. You worked for her 7 years like a slave, and then shortly after she dies. You live with fear. You've been taken advantage. One problem after the other. And Hashem complain how Yaakov dared to say such thing. Vayeshev Yaakov, I want to sit in peace. Hashem, enough. I had enough. You know how much I suffer. Let me enjoy now. By the way, what was the best years of the life of Yaakov? That his suffering actually went away. From what age to what age, who knows? 17 years that he was with Yosef until the day they told him that he was eaten, and 17 years that he went to Egypt to join with Yosef when they told him Yosef is alive, and he stayed there until he's dead. Altogether 34 years. 34 years. That was the life that Yaakov actually had. Every other year, problem after problem. So from here we learn, Rabotai, this world is not a picnic. No matter how righteous you are, no matter how much I love you, I send you suffering. Suffering is a way to cleanse you, to elevate you. It makes connection between you and me. If everything will be smooth, you don't need me. You don't need me. That's why Hashem doesn't give us the Parnassah on Rosh Hashanah. In Rosh Hashanah, He wrote the number. Just give it to me, and next Rosh Hashanah, give me another budget. Why you give it to me little by little? 1 week, one deal. 3 weeks, nothing. Boom, another deal. 3 months, nothing. Boom. Yesterday I had a very righteous woman in my lecture in Great Neck. Nice Persian woman. I know her 30 years almost. When I started my first lecture, she used to come with her brother. I used to speak in Ahavat Shalom 27, 28 years ago. She was one of the students. She has a business that sells fake diamonds. Cubic zirconia, but the highest quality. Meaning even professional diamond dealer cannot tell that it's not diamonds. That's how great it is. She used to sell to the famous people, the mayor, I don't know, all these movie stars. She told me, Rabbi, I don't know what happened. Business is very bad now. I have great product. There's nothing compared to buy this kind of diamond. It costs you millions. People pay a few $100, they have the most magnificent ring or earring or this. Not one person in the world will ever know it's not diamonds. Some cubic zirconia, you buy $40, $50 online, right away you can see it's not real. She said there's no way to know. No, it's very fancy, the highest quality. No business. She said to me, now, December, the Goyim has their holidays now. This is supposed to be the best time of the year. No business. So she went to one big rabbi, Chacham, holy, one of the only few holy that we have left in New York. And what did he tell her? Instead of giving 10% charity, start giving 20% charity. Now between me and you, some people with a nice yarmulke on their head, or a turban, or a sombrero, when you go and you cry to the rabbi, business went down 90%. The last thing you expect is the rabbi to tell you, I know until now you give 10%, make it 20. I'm coming to tell you that I barely have money left to survive. You now doubled my expenses? The rabbi did the right thing or the wrong thing? What do you think?
Right thing.
Huh?
Right.
How do you know it's the right thing?
No.
You need a source. Do you have a source? Someone's business went down 90%.
Learn from the rabbi.
He cut his tzedakah immediately. He cut his tzedakah immediately. There's one guy, his friend told me that he's worth hundreds of millions of dollars. And now he had a very bad year in business. He's giving loans to people with high interest. Now people don't pay the loans. It's a lot of problems right now. So what happened? You need to run after people, court cases, this. So income went down, I don't know how much, 30, 40%. The person worth hundreds of millions of dollars. He has a lot of assets. There was one tzaddik Rebbe that teach in yeshiva 25 years and have hundreds of students that he taught over the years to make them Bnei Torah. He used to send him $1,000 a month. $1,000 a month. And what happened? He stopped. I asked the friend, what happened? He stopped. $1,000 to a person that learned 15, 16 hours a day in yeshiva all day. Who would stop such thing? Don't have, you don't have. He's a multi-millionaire. He said he had a rough year. Meaning from January until December now. The past 11 months. He didn't make as much as he normally makes. So what is the first thing he did? Cut almost all his tzedakah. Smart or stupid? Extremely stupid. Now, words are nice. You may even be convinced. But where is the source? גמרא מפורשת. חז"ל say לגמרא. רואה אדם שמזונותיו מצומצמים, a person see that his income shrinked much less than before. What should he do with them? Multiply his tzedakah, give more charity. Why? That's a very, very important moment in your life. For the first time in your life, you have an opportunity to show Hashem that you know 1,000,000% that all the money you ever made was 100% from Him and His decision only. And because of that, Hashem has no limitation whatsoever to triple my income next year. Or in a year or 2 or 5. Doesn't matter, He will find out when. And because of that, there is another rule. No one ever lost from giving tzedakah and making Hashem happy. There's nothing He loves more than tzedakah and Torah. Hashem loves Torah and loves tzedakah. So, if a person cut from his own luxury, give up vacation, why? You know what? Let's not go to vacation this year. We rather support the Talmidei Chachamim, give them money to learn Torah. More important. You know what? I wanted to buy that watch for a year or 2. I wanted to buy it. I finally wanted to buy it. You know what? Forget this stupid watch. What is it going to give me in life? Let me take that money and continue to give the tzedakah I used to give. This kind of mentality and ideology, you show Hashem, I'm not worried. I know I'm in your hand. Just when you give me millions or when you give me nothing, it's the same exact thing. I'm 100% in your hand. There's nothing for me to worry. גם כי אלך בגיא צל מוות, לא ירא רע כי אתה עמדי, דוד המלך said. I'm walking in the heart of hell. One of the 7 sections in hell, it's called צל מוות. Read in Reshit Chochmah who was judged there and what happens to them. David says, even if I would walk in this horrible place, Tzal Mavet, 1,000,000 times worse than Gaza, 1,000,000 times worse, לא ירא רע, I have no fear. כי אתה עמדי, because I know you're walking with me. Ma, you cannot die there? Of course I can die. But if I die, Hashem wanted me dead, that's it. What is the point? I'm not afraid to die. By the way, today, the way the world is and the way the world will be, and will be a lot worse than what it is right now, much more killing, much more dead people, everybody will be worse. You have to start training your kids not to be afraid from death. You have to talk to them from a very young age that not to worry. Sometimes Hashem takes children, we sometimes take the parents young. They only go to another world. There's nothing to be afraid of. And even if the kids would ask, yeah, but look what he did to him, he cut him, he killed him, he slaughtered him, he shot him, he threw him. You say to them, the suffering, the physical pain, it's only 10-20 seconds. Once the neshama goes out, it doesn't matter if the body is cut or burned, the neshama doesn't feel pain anymore. From a very young age, you have to prepare them that death is just a transfer from one station to another. Do not panic so much and cry next to them about dead people. Because chas v'shalom, if one day they have to deal with that, they may never be able to recuperate, like my grandfather. If someone would prepare my grandfather from a very young age, that when someone dies, it's not the end of the world, maybe as you cry right now, is already in heaven, especially children, before bar mitzvah, express, they go to heaven. What's the point of sitting and crying if your son is in heaven with all the tzaddikim? The answer, lack of knowledge, ignorance. So we'll finish for today, Rabotai. The rest I'll do tomorrow. Rav Shneor Zalman Miladi. You heard about him? Rav Shneor Zalman Miladi is the first Chabadnik in history. The founder of Chabad. Baal Tanya. He tells you something? העיר על הלשון הכתוב שלפנינו. He said on this pasuk, וישב יעקב בארץ מגורי אביו. Why the Torah use the word מגורי אביו? מה זה מגורי? מגורי means your residence, place that you live in, but it also have another meaning. מה זה יגורתי? יגורתי מפני האף והחמה. There is a verse. יגורתי מפני האף והחמה. Af and the Chema are two very bad angels. They destroy him. They're very bad. So there's a verse. I'm afraid of those two bad angels. Not good to say their names at night, especially at night. That is judgment time in the world after sunset. So what we see, lagur mipnei someone is to fear him. So it could be to recite. It could be to be afraid of. Two meanings to the same word, מגורי אביו. Say בעל התניא, one explanation is לשון דירה ומקום מושב. דירה, an apartment, a place of living. Second language, לשון מגור ופחד. Fear, a place of fear, constant fear. And also there is a third explanation to the same word, three explanations. Three meanings. What is it? לשון גרות וזרות. לשון גרות. מה זה לגור? גר. We have two kinds of גר. We have גר צדק and we have גר תושב. Who knows what's the difference between them? When all the goyim comes to me, the Gentiles, Rabbi, I want to convert. Once they will complete their conversion, how we call them? Ger tzedek, converts. Ger tzedek. Tzedek from the word righteous. Righteous converts. You cannot be wicked if you come to convert for real. If you come to convert because you want to play in a basketball league, the only way they hire you is they're going to make you a fake reform conversion. You're not righteous and not nothing. Just a crook, like the team wires you. But if you come to join the Jewish nation for the truth, not for personal job or something like that, or to marry someone, then you are a righteous convert. That's called ger tzedek. If it's a woman, they say gioret. Ger, it's a man, gioret is a woman. What does it mean, ger toshav? Goyim that lives in the Holy Land. They are residents of the Holy Land. They do not own it because God gave it to the Jewish people, not to the Arabs and not to the fake Palestinian made-up nation and not to any other empire who can install it. That belongs only to the Jewish people. So, if there are Gentiles that live there, they are allowed, as long as they are not idol worshippers, as long as they respect the law of the land, meaning they won't break Shabbat in public. Nobody knows it's goyim. You're not allowed to do in your house. You do whatever you want. You cook, you eat, you sew, you write. You don't have to keep Shabbat. You're a non-Jew. But in public, the law of the land, everything must be closed. All businesses, animals do not ride back then. Shabbat, it's a strike. The Gentiles must respect the law of the land. They don't like, adios. Move on to Damascus, to Lebanon, to Iraq, to Egypt, whenever you want. So as long as they're not idol worshippers and they respect, we give them rights, they're allowed to live there, everything is fine. That's called ger toshav. Yoshev. Toshav means Yoshev ba'aretz. It can be a visitor for X amount of months, or a resident, similar to America. Citizens have American passports. People that have green cards are not citizens. They are residents, meaning they can take away the residency. You committed a crime, they cancel your green card. If you left 6 months out of the year, your green card is revoked. You have to be 6 months and a day, minimum every year in the United States. Otherwise, you're tourist. Tourist, you don't deserve a card. You're a tourist. Tourist not supposed to work here. If you want permission to live here, we're giving you a card, you can work and make money and pay taxes. But you have to be the majority of the time here. That's your place of residence. So green card is residency. That's it. You're a resident. If one day you do something bad, act of terror, something, they throw you out. Take away your green card, cancel it, goodbye. If you already have an American passport, they cannot do it. They can't throw you out. That's it. You're an American citizen. Nobody can revoke your citizenship. Green card, permission to live for the time being. We don't like you. Mr. X, green card, cancelled, expired. Go back to Sudan. Find over there a green card over there in Sudan. We don't want you in. That's what Trump planning to do to all these lousy terrorists here. All the students who came here, sits in universities, scream free Palestine, occupying the safety and the peace of the streets of the United States, everywhere. You feel like you're in the middle of Gaza, destroying the beauty of this country after they destroyed Europe completely, all the nice places that the Europeans worked so hard to build. Now all these barbaric murderers destroying every block there in Europe. It's happening here as we speak, here in New York, Brooklyn, places. With the liberal, democratic idiots, the situation will be 100 times worse if they're going to get elected for 4 more years. But if Trump will be a president, or Dos Santos, or any one of the Republicans, they're all very good with their ideology to save the place. They're also very good for Israel, they're very good to the Jews, and they're very good against Iran and all the terrorists. They're very good. They think, they have common sense. So if one of these Republicans will be president, maybe we'll have a little better hope. Things will be done here because they see. They already said it. I heard it, some of them say. We got to clean this country before we're going to end up like France and England. It will be the end of America. I have only one bad news for them and we'll finish here. Arabs are not Jews. Jews establish themselves, help the country, promote the economy, civilization, culture, literature, all kinds of things, religion. One day some anti-Semite dictator didn't like them, made a decree, get up and leave. They stole all their property, kicked them out, and they had to start somewhere else from nothing. And they never in their history made one demonstrations even, forget about violence. If those Republicans, include Trump, think that by him changing the law here and saying that we're going to start throwing out of here all the pro-Palestinian Hamas, do you think that they're going to be quiet? He's dreaming. They're going to start bombing here, just like they do in Israel. They're going to start having attacks here in Manhattan with guns, with explosions of buses. Do you know how many terrorists we have here, style like Hamas, that came here with the student visa? Why they came here? To have the life, to take money from the American government, courtesy of Hussein Obama, the fool. He's not such a fool. He wanted Muslims to come here. That's his religion. So he brought more than 100,000 Syrians which are all suspect of being terrorists. This is people who went through the civil war, shooting, killing with Assad. Both sides are murderers. Opposition and government, killing each other. Violent people. Many of them came here and he gave them residence, all kinds of rights. I'm not even talking about more than 10,000 Mexicans that walk in every day. More than 10,000 every day. Minimum 10,000 walking into California. Do you have video how they cross the border? Nobody does anything. They catch one or two, 10,000 walk through. And those who they catch, send them back. What are they going to do? This country has no future unless finally the Americans will understand that if they'll vote for Democrats again, that's the end of their life, the end of their children, the end of everything. They will end like France. You say one thing the Muslims don't like, 10,000 cars are burned in an hour. That's next right here. There's only one good Democrat, John Kennedy. One normal Democrat. He's Republican.
Kennedy, no.
No, he's Democrat.
Kennedy was Democrat.
He's Democrat, but he speaks like Republican. Maybe that's what confused me.
I checked. John Kennedy is Republican.
You're talking about the one from Louisiana?
Yeah. John Kennedy. No. Louisiana?
One of those
Okay,
South.
well, George Kennedy.
California.
No, that's the one who gave this amazing speech about Israel right to wipe out the Hamas. And he said, we're going to bring their blood out of a cup before they bring our blood. Did you hear that speech or no? What's his name? Help me out. Robert Kennedy?
Robert F. Kennedy? But he's not. He's from
Robert. What was the...
John F. Kennedy was...
John F. Kennedy was the president.
Yeah,
But maybe this one is the same family.
No.
Could be the same name.
John Kennedy, yes, from Louisiana. He's
John Kennedy from Louisiana.
Republican.
Benji, what are you doing? Benji. You have to be sure. He's Republican?
Yes.
100%? Wow. I say to myself, how can it be one normal Democrat?
No such thing, Rabbeinu.
Here you go. Like I say for years, there's not even one normal. Baruch Adonai Le'olam. Now I understand. Rabbi